Hello and welcome to a little Timespiral spoiler show on Blutzol Feuerball. Timespiral Remastered will be having a subset of old frame cards that used to be modern framed cards. And this is hugely exciting for me as a designer of the old frame cube, because I hope that I'll be getting access to some exquisite selected modern day Magic power level without losing the flavor of old frame cards. So 5 cards have been spoiled up to the date, and we'll walk through them today. The first one, I'll start with the least exciting one for cube purposes, is Relentless Rats. As I'm building a singleton cube, a card that says I'm as big as the number of Relentless Rats and a deck can have any number of me is not interesting. There is probably red deck builders around that are happy about this card. For me, this is totally irrelevant, but I needed to mention it because it's there. The other 4 are more interesting. Let's first look at Chalice of the Void. So, the old frame cube is a powered cube, which means that the Chalice of the Void on 0 can destroy some fast mana strategies when on the play. But yeah, I don't know. I cannot really tell if this card is good enough to be a main board card in this cube, because you do run some weirdly looking artifacts that you mainly use because you have to Larian Academy or something, and are happy for artifacts that do random stacks stuff and boost your mana. But I fear that these strategies will be suffering most from Chalice of the Void themselves, so it is very likely that this card won't see play in my cube, and so it won't be included. But yeah, I'll think about this a bit more, and I'll anyways be happy to pull this card, and I expect this card to be really a pricey one because it's relevant for constructed, and I think there is constructed players that want to own foil playsets of this card, and yeah, so I guess I'll have to open them myself. I don't know if I will need it, but it's definitely an interesting and beautiful card. So Lotus Bloom was the pre-release card of the original Timespiral set, and it seems to be that Lotus Bloom is also the pre-release card of Timespiral Remastered. As you can see, the set icon is gold and not purple, so it's not the subset thing. So I expect Lotus Bloom in the old frame to be the release, pre-release, buy a box, whatever promo. Yeah, whatever. That doesn't interest my cube at all. For what reasons it will be given out. What interests my cube is this is a pretty version of Lotus Bloom, and it might see play actually. So of course my cube has the original Lotus as a mana thingy. So of course Lotus Bloom is a lot weaker than that. But still, a Black Lotus that comes 3 turns later, but on the other hand, you can plan ahead on this card, so this might be interesting actually. The thing is that the old frame cube is not always as brutally quick as regular cubes, so even not having this on turn 1 might still be good enough, so I think this card could be a valuable addition to the cube. It's definitely not the strongest card, but I think it will at least be worth giving it a try. This one is really interesting. It's only authentic with the original Twitter thumb of the person who posted this. So apparently this card appears in the list. So on the list, so can be the random insert in set boosters, which was probably deliberately added to hint that this will be part of the Timespiral subset. And the interesting part is it is an equipment. We don't have many equipments. In old frame Magic, there is, I think, exactly 3 equipments, which is the Judge foil versions of the Swords of Feast and Famine, Swords of Blue and Red, Swords of Black and White. And yeah, so this is the fourth equipment I actually know of. It's the question is, how relevant will this card be? I have drafted or sealed limited decks in my cube that had quite a bunch of artifacts and creatures, and in which this Cranial Painting would have definitely fitted in. I think, yeah, this might be worth a try actually, because I mean, this counts every artifact, and we have Moxen in the cube, so also aggro decks will have some mana, some artifacts, and being able to use Cranial Plating for good. I think this card will be worth a try, and is probably the second best card that has been spoiled in Timespiral so far. The best card that has been spoiled so far is clearly Path to Exile. This is really, really nice, because it's a very simple effect and it could have well fit into olden days Magic, so it won't distort the power level or the color pie in any way. And yeah, so it's a second premium white spot removal aside of Swords to Plowshares. So this will be really a no-brainer include. And white is always a difficult color for the old frame cube, because the power level drops after the first 50 cards. And having something like Path to Exile makes me really hope that there will be more cool white cards in Timespiral Remastered. Yeah, so this is the first 5 spoilers of old frame cards. In general, I'm extremely excited about these cards, although I think I will be probably using 1.5 to 2.5 cards of these spoiled so far in my cube. But still, as far as I know, this will be a subset of 100 and something cards. So I hope that I will get some handfuls of reasonable old frame cube cards out of this. So, and if I had to make a wish list, I would probably go for something like Snapcaster Mage, Eternal Witness, Unburial Rites. So cool, grindy value cards that haven't been printed in old school Magic. So I don't have to rely on regrowth and recoup all the time, but can also do this on a stick, or mill my reanimation spell and be able to cast it with flashback. That would be really great. So that being said, thank you for listening to my Timespiral spoiler podcast, and I hope you will enjoy more of my old frame cube content or my other content. Yeah, check the video description for useful links around this topic. Thanks for watching and listening, and see you next time.